Welcome to Running Plays with Coach P. Wade. I am Coach P. Wade. And y'all, we are in the second month of 2025. Like, how good does that feel? Like, you made it. You made it through January, right? We made it through January. And I hope in January you were able to start achieving some of the things that you wrote down at the beginning of the year, achieving some of those things that you have on the vision board, and not necessarily achieving it, but working towards some of the goals and visions and dreams that you have. And I know I've been looking over at my vision board, just remembering those things that I said. I have my one word for the year, which is obedience. And that's me being obedient to the things that God wants me to do versus the things that I want me to do. So I have my one word. I have my vision board to remind me. I got my journals. Y'all, it takes all that. It requires, I know as I'm talking, I'm like, sounds like a lot. It is a lot. In order for us to achieve the things we want, it's not going to be just, we do it here and there, right? Going to the gym, like people always say, after this first month of January, it starts to thin out where people are no longer going, because it does require a lot to keep going. But for me, and for you, anybody watching this, I just want to make sure we keep it at the forefront. We keep it at the top of our minds by having our vision boards, by using our journals, by knowing our words for the year that's going to push us. And before I get into this episode, if you're already not subscribed to my channel, please please share, please subscribe, please turn the notifications on so when I drop a new episode, I drop a short, you're notified immediately, and you can share it with your family and friends. But y'all, as we get started and get ramped up in 2025, we are now in February. I recently started, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I've been having these moments because I've had a life change where I now go to the office 5 days a week. And my office drive is 42 miles, which for some, that's like, okay, it's not that bad. And it's not that bad. Let me not say that. But mentally and physically, it can drain me for driving the 42 miles because I live in Atlanta. So we know 42 miles ain't like a 45-minute drive. That's not the case. I'm pushing an hour and a half, 2 hours on my commute home, on top of being an entrepreneur, on top of being a wife, a mom, all these different things. Building my brand of Coach P, pushing my book, all these things. And I'm like, getting to the point of, okay, I've had some moments where I'm like, how in the hell am I going to keep doing this? Like, how is it possible for me to do it? Or should I just focus? I just got to do work, but then I'm like, I don't want to get stuck in the rat race, all these things going through my head. So I've been in this space and I'm working through it. I'm navigating it. It's a challenging space of how do I balance all of this? Can I balance all of this? Is it possible? And as I'm going through this, I came across a movie, and it's an amazing movie called Unstoppable. And it's based on a true story. So the movie Unstoppable is off of a young man named Anthony Robles. If you haven't heard of him, look him up. And let me tell y'all a little bit about him. So Anthony Robles was born with one leg, okay? This is a true story. They made it into a movie recently, but this is a true story about a true individual. He was born with one leg, right? So, of course, being born with one leg, you already got the odds are stacked against you, per se, right? I'll say stacked against you. So he goes through life. He ends up becoming a wrestler. So he wrestles, not like a WWE, anything like that, but like wrestling in high school, on the mats and all that. So he becomes a wrestler. And when he first became a wrestler, obviously people are like, how the heck is he going to be a wrestler? He has one leg. But what he said, and one thing I liked, he didn't look at what he lacked. He looked at what he had inside of him. And what he had was perseverance. What he had was discipline. What he had was work ethic. Nobody was going to outwork him. So we fast forward through Anthony's life. He has a lot of trials, tribulations. His mom had a lot of, issues as a single mom, going through a divorce, losing a home, all these different things, challenges, he said, on the mat and off the mat, right? A lot of people would have gave up. Like, you're already out here, you have one leg, you're trying to show people that you can get through this, everybody's doubting you, nobody believes in you, really. This man ends up, he doesn't get a scholarship to go to college to wrestle. He walks onto a team, but then he ends up getting a scholarship because of his work ethic and because of his mindset and not focusing on what he lacked. He became one of the greatest wrestlers at Arizona State of all time, y'all. He didn't focus on not having a leg, because what you focus on magnifies. But what he focused is on what he did have, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today. He focused on what he did have. But let me wrap up his story so y'all can know how great this story ends. He went to Arizona State, which is a Division I college, y'all. He was a 3-time All-American. And then in 2011, he won the NCAA championship. He's literally a national champion. He was born with one leg, but he still worked hard. So it's not about what you have, what you don't have, but it's about what you do with it. It's about what you do with what you have or what you don't have. So it's about he could have easily, and I know a lot of people would have had that victim mindset. A lot of people, we have the victim mindset with 2 legs. Like, let's keep it real. A lot of people have the victim mindset and we got 2 legs and we're out here fully capable, right? And not saying he's not capable. I don't want to say that, but we're out here with everything, but we still have that victim mindset because maybe we lacked, some people may have lacked a parent growing up. Maybe we lacked the income that we want. Maybe we lacked the resources. So we like to throw out so many excuses. But what Anthony did, instead of having excuses, he let it fuel him. He said, you know what? I don't have this, but I'm going to let that be the fuel to get me to the greatest point. I'm going to achieve the things they said I couldn't achieve. And I want to talk about that. Like, this year, I want us to be unstoppable. I want you to be unstoppable this year. But like we see in his story, it starts with a mindset. It starts about what we believe. Because the crazy thing is, people think so many things are impossible. I'm not going to lie. When I first became a speaker, when I first started coaching, I'm like, is that really me? Like, because that's not who I was my whole life. I've been an athlete. I've been a basketball player. I went to college for this. I work in business management. Now I have this other job in the corporate America. Like, are you really a coach? Are you really a speaker? Like, I get those things. Like, is that really possible for you right now? Because you're getting a little older. Is that window closed, Patrice? I start thinking those things. But then I'm like, no, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it does feel impossible, but everything feels impossible until it's done. Everything is going to feel impossible until it's done. So I want you to really think about it and write this out. Like, how am I going to be unstoppable this year? And I want you to think about the story of Anthony. Like, if he can do what he wanted to do, because he focused on it and he knew he wasn't it was like by any means necessary. He wanted to achieve it, right? And he had setbacks too. Let me not skip over that, because you're going to have setbacks. Let me say that again. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have failures. On the road to success, failure is inevitable. On the road to success, there can't be success without failure, right? I believe that failure and resilience are prerequisites for greatness. And I know we want to be great, right? So that you're going to fail, but you're going to have resilience. Resilience is being the ability to be able to bounce back. Like, because when you fail, you can either go into a slump or you can fail and say, okay, cool. All right, so that happened. What did I learn from it? How can I grow from it? What am I going to do differently next time so I can, get over that hump? So failure can do 2 things to people, right? So we got to figure out how you're going to be unstoppable this year. The first is shifting your mindset. Deciding, like, first of all, not focusing on what you don't have. You may not have everything that you need right now to achieve whatever that thing is that you're trying to accomplish, right? But let's focus on what you do have and what can you do with it. And you got to control the controllables. You got to control, like, you only can control what you can control. There's going to be so many outside factors that are going to play a role. Like, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish, like, if this is the movie of your life, like, you could just write the script, you could film it, and everything could just go as perfectly as, you see it, that your vision is. But no, in the real world, that's not how it's going to work. It's going to be some outside things that happen because you have a lot of other characters in your life. You may have a spouse, you may have kids, you may have siblings, may have parents, you may have coworkers, a boss, all these things that are going to play roles in your life. They're going to play roles in your life. And then also the other things that can happen, life events, tragic events, things that are happening in the world, right? Like, those things start playing into your emotions and how you feel. So maybe it's like, oh, this is happening. I don't feel like doing it anymore. Because I go through that, y'all. But I always come back to this. You got to stay committed. Commitment is doing the things you don't feel like doing long after the mood or feeling that you set it in is gone. So I always have to bring myself back. That's another way you can be unstoppable. Remembering why you're doing it, understanding you only can control what you can control, and not focusing on what you don't have, right? And then being resilient. I read something the other day. It says character consists of what was it saying? They say character consists of what you do on the third and fourth tries. I was like, I like that because sometimes doing things once it could be easy or hard, or so if it's hard you might give up after the first. If it's challenging, you might give up after the second. But if you got character and you have perseverance and you want to really, this is really that thing, you really want it, you want it bad. How bad do you want it? That's the question, right? If you really want it, your character is going to show up, right? Your commitment is going to show up. So if you want this to be a year where you're unstoppable, those are things we have to talk about too. Your character, your commitment. These are words I want y'all to write down and, really feel them this year. Character, commitment, resilience, perseverance. These are things that Anthony had. These, when I watched the movie and after I sat and let it sink in, like these are the things those are the words that came to me. Like, man, this man has so much resilience. He persevered. Like, I don't know. It's a great story. He had so much discipline, work ethic, his character, like he didn't give up because he could have gave up. Like the movie don't show all of the stuff he had to go through, but in real life, like you got to think he was born with one leg, y'all. So, man, that is just a crazy story. But this is what I want you to do before I get out of here. I want to tell another story because I want y'all to really start thinking about your life and how we're going to remove the victim mindset, and how things seem impossible until they're done, right? So, and I apologize if I'm all over the place today. I just wanted to get this message out of you being unstoppable because this is that year. There's a story of a guy named Roger Bannister. You probably never heard of him. You may have. Some people may be familiar with them. But this is a story of everything's impossible until it's done. So back in the 1950s, it was a belief by experts that humans could not run the mile in under 4 minutes. So everybody already knew, like, when they were practicing, when they were training, I want to hit the mile at least in 4 minutes. 4 minutes, I can't get it under that. So they didn't work to achieve it under that because experts said it's humanly impossible to run this mile under 4 minutes. But Roger Bannister had a different thought. He said, I want to prove them wrong. I believe it can be done. So he worked hard. He created strategies on how he was going to run the race. Y'all, fast forward to the end of the story. The man ran the mile in under 4 minutes. It always seems impossible until it's done. He ran it in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. He proved the experts wrong. He proved everybody wrong because he believed that he could do it and he decided to work hard. He made the decision to go out there, create a strategy, no matter what was against him. The odds were against everybody because no one believed it could be done. Even the experts. So that's another thing. Don't allow anybody to tell you what you can't do, even if they are considered an expert, right? And if they ain't an expert, damn sure don't listen to them. Don't let anybody tell you what you're not going to be able to do. Don't let them tell you, you're too old. You're too short for that. Well, you probably want a degree in this. You probably should have experience. You probably need a certification. You probably should go. No, right? If you feel like you want to do it, you can change anytime in life. You can make a decision to say, you know what? I want to go be a doctor. Go be a doctor. You could make a decision to say, you know what? I want to be a motivational speaker. Become a motivational speaker. You can become what you want. You're going to have to put some work in. It's not going to be easy. You might get some sleepless nights. You might get some additional weight. You might have to be committed and keep going even when you don't feel like it. But do not allow anyone to put a lid on you, put a cap on you, put a ceiling on you, whatever, however we're going to say it. You do what you want to do because you can. And always remember, impossible is just two words that really just say, I'm possible. So always remember that as well. So, man, it's crazy. But yeah, Roger Bannister, he ran the mile 3 minutes and 59 seconds. And then today, y'all, the record in 2025, the quickest mile right now is 3 minutes and 43 seconds. But the expert said it couldn't be done in less than 4 minutes. So, y'all, this is the year of us being unstoppable. This is the year of you being unstoppable. But you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to change some things more than likely, right? What do you have to change? We're going to start with mindset. We talked about that, right? You're going to have to change your mindset and focus on what you do have and not what you lack. All right. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to share that story because it was incredible story. Man, it's just one of those things you sit back and you're like, wow, he really did this. So we can really do what we want to do. You can really do what you want to do, right? So just go out there this year and decide to be unstoppable. And y'all, that's all I got. If you aren't already following me on TikTok, please follow me on TikTok at Coach P Wade. Follow me on Instagram at Coach P Wade. Facebook at Patrice Wade. If you don't have my book, what are you doing? No, I'm joking. No, if you don't have my book, it's on Amazon. I Rise at 5, The Secrets to Success, Peace, and Happiness. It's an amazing book. My dad always told me I can't say my own book's amazing, but I'm going to say it's an amazing book. I got some reviews now, so I can say it, Dad. And what else I got? That's all I got for y'all right now. Oh, yeah. And if you ever want to book me or need information on life coaching or anything like that, go to CoachPWade.com. And y'all, that's all I got. Hope you have an amazing week. Decide to be unstoppable. See you next time.